everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Boom. This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, plop down on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm your fedora-wearing, duck-billed, beaver-tailed secret agent, Joseph.
And I'm the balloon you lost as a child. My name's Chris.
And today we watched Phineas and Ferb.
And this was suggested to us by both Rochelle and Tommy. One being a wife and one being someone that I think would love to be both our wives.
I think so, yeah. From what I hear.
We know Tommy in real life, and Tommy loves us dearly. And in fact, I one of my favorite memories with Tommy, because Tommy is someone that we have spent time with in real life. There was a time that we were doing a live Twitch stream with the community. We were playing Among Us, I think, and there was a little bit of, like ribbing each other going on at one point. And then Tommy was just like, I'm wearing your guys' merch in like the next room aside, like next to Chris. Come on, guys. So,
yeah. That granted him no immunity from us.
Yeah. But thanks to both of them.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both. So the show Phineas and Ferb aired from 2007 to 2015, created by Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh. Produced by Disney Television Animation, this ran for 4 seasons, 129 episodes, and 222 segments, originally on the Disney Channel and Disney XD. And for a short synopsis, Phineas and Ferb invent, scheme, and stay one step ahead of their bratty sister. Meanwhile, their pet platypus plots against evil Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Pet platypus plots. Yeah, I was going to say it's very hard to say. Pet platypus plots. I said it right the first time, but now it's hard to repeat.
I have a question for you, and I think we have seen Jeff Swampy, that's in parentheses, Marsh. I think we've seen his name before, so I may have asked this question before, but like, what do you think you have to do to earn the nickname Swampy?
Your last name just has to be Marsh. I mean, it makes sense.
Oh my God.
Did you just get that?
Yeah. I was just thinking maybe he's just a real stinky, sweaty guy.
Like a real smelly guy. Yeah. I mean, maybe that too, but I'm pretty sure it's just Marsh.
Like he's just like, it's said with love, but his friends are like, man, we love you, but you really should shower more often, Swampy.
That's cruel. That's like a Dick Tracy name, like Flat Top, or like, I don't know, whatever the other ones are.
Yeah, all those other ones.
Where they're commenting on your appearance, like
on
that's
their
your
appearances.
Name.
Yes, yeah.
Prune Face. That's another one.
I don't know. Prune Face. You're right.
Swampy.
Goodness, Swampy. Yeah.
So who were some of the actors who played in this show?
So the voice of Phineas was provided by Vincent Martella, who played the character of Greg Wooliger in the TV series Everybody Hates Chris, which is a terrible name for a series. I just wanted to point that out. Worst name for a series I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah, that was Chris Rock's show, right?
Yeah, but come on. No one needs to hate on Chris.
Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody hates Chris.
Yeah. Who's ever loved anyone named Raymond? Come on.
My brother's name is Raymond.
I stand by my case.
Oh.
Sorry, Ray. The voice of Ferb was provided by Thomas Brody Sangster. Now, Thomas, this is interesting to me because Ferb probably had he was a character that had maybe some of the least amount of lines in the entire series, right? But this kid is probably one of the more famous people on this cast list. He played Jojen Reed in Game of Thrones. He's Newt in the Maze Runner series of movies. He has done voiceover for Thunderbirds Are Go. He's appeared in The Queen's Gambit, Pistol, and is going to be starring in the upcoming movie Unsinkable and the upcoming series Mouse Guard.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah. So it was like super like well-known actor there. So I was just like, interesting.
He actually, I know this because I read it earlier, but he actually was, since he had so few lines, he was the only person that I know of, at least, that didn't come to the studio. He lived in the UK, so he just sent his lines over since he had so few. And
that's great.
There were some episodes where he just didn't speak at all.
Yeah, exactly. But he's credited in every episode, which is funny.
I mean, he does have a nice voice, so it's nice hearing him, but it's always a surprise when you hear Ferb talk.
He does have a very pleasant voice. The voice of Candace was provided by Ashley Tisdale, who is a famous singer and performer that got her start on shows like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, before moving on to shows like Hellcats, Sabrina, Secrets of a Teenage Witch, Skylanders Academy, and the, I think what is a brand new show right now, Carol's Second Act, which I think is a sitcom or something. I don't know. I don't watch sitcoms. Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Doofenshmirtz? Yeah. Dr. Doofenshmirtz, voiced by one of the creators, Dan Povenmire, who also, so Dan is usually not an actor. He's usually a writer, producer, director, creator. However, he does voice a character named Dakota in a show called Milo Murphy's Law. Now, this show has something to do with Phineas and Ferb. I don't know what it is, but I know it does because he reprises his role as Doofenshmirtz in that show.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing. The voice of Perry, the platypus, was provided by D. Bradley Baker. And I was thinking, like, it's got to be one of three people. It's either D. Bradley Baker, Frank Welker, or Alan Tudyk. I mean, they're the animal guys, you know? So D. Bradley Baker, we've talked about him quite a bit. He was number 4 in Codename Kids Next Door, Appa and Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Waddles from Gravity Falls. He was Rex and many of the clone troopers, I guess all the clone troopers and lots of the Star Wars animations. And he also plays the character of Dog in Milo Murphy's Law. The list goes on. I'm going to guess Dog is probably an animal too. He does a lot of animals. And Dog, I'm going to guess is a dog.
Yeah, sounds like an animal name.
Like D-O-G. I think it's a dog. Dog.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I bet it is. The voice of Linda, which is their mother, was provided by Caroline Rhea, who played Aunt Hilda in the sitcom Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was the one that starred Melissa Joan Hart back when we were kids. Aunt Hilda was the shorter, like real funny, goofy one. She was my favorite one.
Yeah, Zelda was the taller one.
Zelda was the other one, correct. Major Monogram was Jeff Swampy Marsh, who also plays a role in Milo Murphy's Law as a character named Cavendish. You noticing a trend here that like half the people from this go on to this other show called Milo Murphy's Law? So, yeah. The last character I'm going to mention here, Isabella, was voiced by Allison Stoner. Much like Ashley Tisdale, this is another singer and performer who's also really known for her dancing, as she was a backup dancer for Missy Elliott and appeared in some of Missy Elliott's videos. She also appears as Camille in several movies in the Step Up series, and also voices Barbara Gordon in Young Justice and Camille in Pete the Cat. And there's your cast.
All right, you did it.
Oh, yeah!
And for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Phineas and Ferb cereal, the show takes place in Danville, which is in Jefferson County, which is in the tri-state area. Danville was named after Dan Povenmire, and Jefferson County was named after Jeff Swampy Marsh.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So basically, yeah, it takes place in this fictional places that are just named after the creators.
I feel like everywhere you go in the United States, like it doesn't matter what city you live in, the local news always mentions the tri-state area.
It's true.
Like no matter where you go, you live next to the tri-state area or in it.
I guess unless you're mid-state, right?
I don't know. I've only lived somewhere referred to as the tri-state area.
I guess I don't even know what that means, I guess, technically. Is it just where 3 states like meet?
I don't know. I guess.
I'm unsure. It took the creators 16 years to get this show on television.
No,
16
wow.
years.
Why?
I don't know.
They could have had a whole kid.
But we are only like 7 or maybe 8 years into Nerd Sloth, so we've still got plenty of time to be on television, is what I'm seeing here.
What we need is a platypus, I think.
That's true. That's all we need, I think.
Or we create a cartoon sloth, get D. Bradley Baker to voice it. He can make sloth noises, I'm sure.
But he also has to be a secret agent and needs a fedora.
Secret sloth. There we go. I got the theme song.
Agent S. The first drawing of Phineas was on a piece of butcher's paper drawn with crayon in a restaurant.
Huh. Okay.
Jarrett Reddick, lead singer of the band Bowling for Soup, which did the theme song for the show, is the voice of Danny, lead singer of the fictitious band Love Handle in the series.
Oh, okay. Weird connection here. Weird connection. So in one of the episodes we watched, there's a lot of music. And the very first song, I was like, man, this sounds a whole lot like Bowling for Soup.
Yep.
I don't think it was. I think when I was listening to that, I think it was actually the voice of Ferb or Phineas, sorry, that was singing that particular song. But I was just like, oh man, I thought that kind of sounded like Bowling for Soup. Did not realize Bowling for Soup made the actual theme song.
Well, connected to that, each episode apart from the first contains at least one original song. The writing staff sings the song into an answering machine of Danny Jacob on Fridays to have it be magically written each Monday.
Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous.
So this guy just wrote these songs over the weekend based on the writing staff, like singing him crude lyrics for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Phineas and Ferb is the longest running Disney animated show, lasting from 2007 to 2015, beating Kim Possible from 2002, which only ran for 5 years.
Wow. Okay. Wait a minute. But there was only like 4 seasons, right? So like they really stretched that out, didn't they?
It seems like it because, yeah, I know the 4th season had at least 48 episodes.
Did they take like a hiatus maybe at some point?
I don't know. I mean, well, 2007 technically was when the pilot aired, and it wasn't until 2008 that the actual series started. So I don't know like where in there or how they stretched it out, but it was technically the longest running series, Disney series.
It makes sense because the voices of all the kids is dramatically different in the final episode.
In season 4, episode 24, Phineas and Ferb's Star Wars, Ferb had the most lines, or it had Ferb's most lines, at least. Like, he actually spoke the most in that episode. But connected to that, there's a Star Wars episode that I didn't even know about. Why did no one recommend this one to us?
You get nothing. You get nothing.
I'm going to go back and watch it.
That's cool, though. That's fun. Yeah, we'll have to watch that.
Because I saw some screenshots of it when I was on IMDb earlier, and I saw, like, Jabba the Hutt. I saw Candace in a stormtrooper costume. So I was like, what is all this?
They make Candace a stormtrooper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I love that. Out of all the main characters, like in Star Wars, that they could make like their characters, they make her a stormtrooper. I love that.
I'd love to see like how else they parody is. Seems like it would be really fun. So let's go ahead and talk about the episodes we watched for today's show, starting with the first one, which was Rollercoaster, season 1, episode 1A. And this episode follows series protagonist Phineas and Ferb building an extremely large roller coaster, starting in their backyard and going throughout the city. So this really sets you up well for what's going to happen for the rest of the series. It's got this certain formula to it, and it really sticks to that, at least for all the episodes we saw, where you open with Phineas and Ferb sort of like making a plan to build out some new attraction of some sort. Like in this case, a roller coaster or just whatever to make their summer interesting. And I should also say that this takes place over the course of one summer. I think
the whole series, right?
Yeah, it's in the theme song. I think it says like 104 days of summer, and there's many more episodes in that. But it's basically you're considering this to be taking place over the course of the summer. And the last episode we watched is the end of summer. So it makes sense that it's encapsulated in that period of time. And so their summers consist of them building devices, Candace trying to tell on them or trying to bust them to their mom. Even though it works the exact same way all the time, it's funny every time it happens. And then on the other side of that, like this is also got a portion where Perry the platypus becomes Agent P, puts on a fedora, goes down to his secret base and talks to what's the guy's name on the computer?
That would be Major Monogram.
Yeah, Major Monogram, MM.
Yeah.
And he tells him basically the same thing every episode, which is you need to go stop Dr. Doofenshmirtz from doing whatever crazy plan he has this week or today.
And I love that Doofenshmirtz's plans are always really bad. Like they're always just so stupid and they really lean into the like just overzealous bumbling villain thing with him to
Mad
the
scientist.
funniest degree.
Yeah.
Like I think it makes it even better that Perry never really talks. So like you're really just using his facial expressions and stuff to get like what he's thinking. And I think that's really funny when like he does end up in Doofenshmirtz's building as I'm trying to remember what this one was. Oh, he was going to cover the whole tri-state area in tinfoil.
Yeah.
And then he had the giant magnet, and then he was going to basically pull the entire tri-state area, you know, away from its foundation.
He was going to pull the east westward so that it would reverse the rotation of the earth. And he didn't know why. It wasn't part of the plan. He just wanted to do it.
Yeah. As he's going in this super convoluted way of explaining everything, he has Harry temporarily in shackles. And it takes him so long that Perry just devises a way to escape. And which is like very typical because he really likes to go into his like monologues, his villain monologues where he details his exact plan and why they're genius.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't understand them himself.
Right. So he's going to tell you his whole plan and it's not going to make sense. And even he admits it most of the time that he's either just doing it to do it or he hasn't thought that far ahead or whatever the case. But he's always expecting Perry to come and try to thwart him. So sometimes he has ways of trying to stop him. Obviously, they're never successful. And rinse and repeat. Like that's the setup. But even though you're seeing the same sort of setup every time, it's still like it got funnier and funnier the more that I watched it because it's like all these different ways of doing the same thing. And that held across all 4 seasons because even the last episode we watched, like I still found it really funny the way that it was happening.
And one of the other things too is that like, even though this is always like a side story between Doofenshmirtz and Perry that takes place away from what Phineas and Ferb are doing, it always intersects somehow, like usually towards the end of the episode. And it's always kind of funny because it gets established in this first episode because like you don't really see it happening, I don't think, until it happens. And then from that point on, it's kind of like, okay, how is it going to come into play this time? Which when we get into the next episode and start talking about that one, that cracked me up so hard when it finally happened. Because it felt like it just came out of nowhere, but it was great.
Yeah.
But like, so here we were talking about Phineas and Ferb are, they got bored. So they start building their roller coaster. Candace is trying so hard to, you know, convince their mom, you know, that this is going on, that you can already tell this is an established thing that happens, that the mom sees Candace as, you know, the girl who cried wolf kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to humor you with this. You know, we already know there's not going to be anything going on. And what I love is like how many times Candace gets so close to actually getting them caught. My favorite was when the mom's at the grocery store and Phineas and Ferb have already built their gigantic roller coaster.
Yeah.
And somehow have already put flyers up all over town, like these huge posters. And Candace goes to tell their mom at the grocery store, sees one of the posters. And it's like, mom, see, I told you, look at the poster. And as she runs to go grab her mom to show the poster, some other kids come up and they're like, wow, cool, a roller coaster, let's go. And they grab the poster and run off. And it's just like a split second before Candace brings her mom back. So she just looks crazy.
Yeah. She's like,
and it's just like those constant close calls, like around every corner with her. It's so funny.
You even start to feel like, okay, like, you know that she's not going to catch them, but you're like, how are they going to get out of it this time? And that's what makes it continuously funny is it's always a last minute random thing that happens. Like, yeah, when they pulled the little flyer off of the pillar or whatever, there's like, I wonder if we need to take this to get a discount. Oh, well, let's just do it. And so it's just a happenstance right before. So that was great. One of the funniest parts of this one, and maybe not the funniest, but one that really stuck in my mind was when they're out there like creating the roller coaster, Phineas and Ferb, and they go to that factory and the guy's just like, aren't you a little young to be engineering a roller coaster? And he's like, yes, I am. And he's like, Okay, well, your documents look in order. Yeah, he's just like impressed by him. And that yes, I am seems to be a continuous thing too, because I heard that. I think you hear that in at least the episodes we watched, all of them. So that was just like an ongoing joke. And I appreciated that one because it's just like, he's just so like firm about it that everyone's just like, all right, well, I'm convinced.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't lie about it. He's just like, yeah. And the guy's like, huh, well,
the guy's
that's
like,
impressive.
well, I must say I'm very impressed. Yeah.
It's so good.
And he filled all his permit forms out in crayon, but he still took them. So,
the guy still accepted it. It's so funny. They get a bunch of kids to go on the coaster, including Isabella, who is this neighborhood girl that lives like either down the street or across the street, obviously has a huge crush on Phineas, and Phineas just kind of doesn't really pay her much mind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously talks, they're friends, but he seems incredibly clueless to her having a crush, or is just totally uninterested in it and just ignores that part of their relationship to a hilarious degree in another episode we watch, to a degree that I was laughing multiple times because this joke kept coming back up, and I can't wait to get to it. But they get on the coaster, they start it. This thing is wild, man. I think my favorite part, they go on all these loops, and then like all the snakes fall out of the air to land on them, and everyone's screaming. They're like, it's just rubber
snakes. Yeah. And then they go through just a little pit of mud and come out of that.
Go through the car wash.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
And the roller coaster literally goes through the entire city, coils around Doofenshmirtz's building. And that's where I was like, okay, so they're going to see Perry here. Nope, they just keep going. They keep traveling. Perry doesn't get seen there, and they just continue on their way. And I was like, oh. But kind of as they're on this roller coaster and going along the ride, that's when Perry finally escapes. He basically sabotages Doofenshmirtz's machine a little bit, or actually Doofenshmirtz himself.
Yeah. So what happens with the machine is like, so the eastern seaboard has been wrapped in tinfoil by Doofenshmirtz, and he's going to just pull it with that magnet. But instead of pulling the buildings with it, it just pulls all of the tinfoil off and rolls it into a little tinfoil ball that's heading straight for them.
Tinfoil ball, yeah.
Yeah, and like a giant one. And like once Perry like pulls the magnet off with the helicopter, like that's when the tinfoil ball actually comes towards the building and wrecks it and takes Doofenshmirtz with it. And because he's like, you did it, you saved us, Perry the platypus, and then the ball hits the building immediately. Like the timing of that was so good. And then he's like, curse you, Perry the platypus, as he's getting taken away.
He goes flying away.
Yeah.
My favorite part though is this one coming up. I keep having these favorite parts, and then I remember another favorite, like the next part, and I'm like, no, this is even better. Now this is where the helicopter is overhead, and to get himself out of there, Perry hooks this helicopter with this rope with the magnet on the end of it, and flies out of there, but inadvertently picks up the entire roller coaster Phineas and Ferb just built. Right as Candace and her mom are coming out of the grocery store, and Candace is like, this roller coaster is huge, you can't miss it, and then points to the sky, and it's just gone because Perry accidentally moved it out of the sky temporarily.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so funny.
Oh yeah.
And then he sets it back down, but they had flown off the track on the little cart. It's flying through, they hit an airplane, they bounce off the Statue of Liberty, Mount Rushmore, the Eiffel Tower, they go through space.
Yeah.
So then Candace's plan is like, well, they're not going to be home. I can at least prove that they're not home. And then they rush home, and right as they're opening, go ahead.
I was going to say, the roller coaster from space is like going down in a fiery blaze towards their home. And so it times out where, like, right when they get home, the roller coaster has like hit the tree that, is in their backyard. Phineas and Ferb fall right under the tree where they were when they left, when the mom and Candace left. And so she sees them in the same place, doesn't think anything of it. The tree is like burning, and then
Yeah.
The other kids fall out of it just one after another.
Like right after.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, that was awesome. That was great. And Candace is just so beside herself at all of her failures.
And then at the very end of that, you see the roller coaster explode in the tree, and Candace is like, "Mom!" And then in the background, you see the giant foil ball rolling by. So it's just oh, nice. It's all connected. It's so good.
Then Ferb says his only line because Perry crawls back up and Isabella says something about him being like cute or something. And then
she had told Perry that maybe they could teach Perry some tricks, or had told Phineas that maybe they could teach Perry some tricks. And he was like, well, he is a platypus and they don't do much. That's when Ferb comes in with the laying eggs line. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think he was going to speak until I heard that. I was like, oh, okay, so he does talk sometimes.
Yeah, I was wondering too, because I'm like, okay, this kid's credited in every episode, so he's got to speak at least at some point. So,
and the next episode we watched for today's show was The Chronicles of Meep, Season 2, Episode 7, Patreon picked by Epic Otter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Epic.
Phineas and Ferb accidentally knock an alien craft out of the sky. Oh, man. This episode,
that's it. That's the only thing they say for the.
That's all it says. But it's goodness. So much more than that. This episode was great on many levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a predictability about it where you're like, I know kind of what's gonna happen and how it's gonna play out, but it was just so interesting to watch it.
Yeah, and I think what's funny too is it is a little endearing to Candace for once, because the whole last one is just like her being kind of the antagonist. But here you get to see that she's kind of a nerd a little bit. She's got this thing she's super excited about, which is almost like a I don't know what you call it. It's not quite like a Furby sort of thing. They're called bangaroos, but it's like that. It's like something that these kids, these like, you know, however old she is, preteen, teen, like want to collect. And
yeah, it's like these little stuffed animals that are combination, like kind of chimera animals. Where
it sounds like they get to submit somewhere like on a website or something the two animals they want to combine, and then you get it delivered to you and it's your bangaroo. She chose, was it an elephant and a frog?
No, a cow and a frog.
And she was bless her heart, she was so happy.
She named it Senor Frog. Yeah.
She was so happy to get it, and then she opened it and it is the ugliest freaking thing you've ever seen.
It was hideous. It looked great. Her friend Stacy had combined a bunny and a bear, and it was adorable. But yeah, Senor Frog was just hideous.
Senor Frog.
And then she's like, I just discovered why cows and frogs don't date, when she was talking to her friend about it. Yeah.
But she was excited because there's like a convention that is in their town for these bangaroos, and she wants to go to that convention. But I think she's a little embarrassed now because her bangaroo is so like just hideously ugly. But you know, her friend's going with her cute one, and she wants to go. On the flip side of this, Phineas and Ferb are in the backyard, of course, with an invention. This is an invention that it shoots a baseball, and it has like a little control joystick where you can control the trajectory of the baseball.
Yeah,
in any direction through space. And they do it and shoot down an alien spaceship that's flying over. And out pops the cutest little alien ever named Meep, who can only say Meep. And Candace thinks that they got their own bangaroo, and in her jealousy takes it for herself.
Well, she doesn't take it. It follows her.
Oh, that's right. It does follow her.
And then she ends up like grabbing it and using it for her own in place of Senor Frog, because he is just so ugly. And
well, and Meep destroyed Senor Frog.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. He just like he burnt him up with a rainbow beam that he shoots out of his mouth. Yep.
Yeah. But Meep is adorable. And Phineas was trying to explain that, no, this isn't a toy. Like, this is an actual alien that we just shot down in our backyard by accident.
Well, he was saying that about the alien spacecraft. He didn't say the
that's
alien.
True. Yes. Right. And she's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just another one of your weird invention things. So on the flip side of that too, because there's so many flip sides. So here's the C storyline going on. Perry and Doofenshmirtz. So Perry gets his call from Major Monogram. He goes after Doofenshmirtz, who has assembled so much carpet in his building.
Yeah.
And puts on a big sock costume and is rubbing himself all over. He's building up as much static electricity as possible and has a machine that will absorb all that static that he can shoot out. And
yeah, not for the reasons that you would think. I don't know what reasons you're thinking, but it's not going to be this one. Because
there's
all he's trying to do
backstory.
Yeah, there's a backstory. All of his plans have backstories of some sort, which is also great. Yeah. But this one is so he was in school. Oh, I guess it started with him saying that as a lad, he smelled of pork so badly that his parents disowned him and he was being raised by ocelots. And then he ended up working in a carnival and he had no friends. So he painted a new friend, Balloony, with long lasting spray of some sort. And Balloony was literally just a floating balloon, but his only friend with like this really generic like guy face on it that looked so funny. Like the more I saw it, the funnier it got. And then at a certain point, Balloony started floating away while he was dressed as a gnome for some side job. And so he hasn't seen him since, but he knows he's still around somewhere because he used this long lasting paint. So what he's trying to do, this is all leading up to him just trying to get every balloon to be attracted to this static electricity that he's going to put out so that he can find Balloony again. That is his ultimate plan.
That's the plan. It's a stupid plan.
He's going to steal balloons from children, clowns, and clown children.
Yes. And we do see all three of those take place in order, in succession. And it's pretty funny. So one of the things that Meep has this picture that looks like an older version of Meep with a big curly mustache that everyone like he brings it out and he's like Meep because that's all he can say. And everyone keeps thinking, oh, it's your dad. You're trying to find your dad. But like I was thinking too at the beginning, I was like, that'd be really funny if this ends up being like he's a bounty hunter and this is a mugshot. That's totally what it ended up being. Yeah, that's
exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, I know this is going to be some kind of bounty thing, but I mean, it wasn't because he's not a bounty hunter as much as he is just an intergalactic enforcer. So he's like a space cop.
Basically, which sounds even better than a bounty hunter. Space cop.
Yeah.
It's great.
Meep the space cop.
Candace took Meep to the convention. They get kicked out because these security guards, which are in these giant Bangaroo costumes, were really, really rude. And it's just hilarious seeing them in there. And Meep rainbow laser beams them, gets them kicked out. So she comes back, but the reason that she was, I guess, kind of written away from home in the first place was so this could happen. The big dude that Meep had the picture of shows up, abducts Phineas and Ferb, who have fixed up Meep's little spacecraft. Which Ferb totally tricks out, puts flames on it, drives it all through town, and tries to pick up a girl and everything.
Well, he tries to pick up who we later find, and maybe she had been introduced earlier, but we hadn't seen her before. Was Vanessa, who is Doofenshmirtz's daughter? Yeah, she's the resident goth girl, basically. Vanessa.
Yes, she's great. But so anyway,
this alien. Hold on, like
he shows up.
He shows up, but it made me laugh so much when he said his name. He's like, I go by two names. One of them is Mitch, and the other is sometimes my friends call me Big Mitch. I was just like, those are the most ridiculous names. I was thinking it was going to take the route of Mitch or some kind of like name that ridiculous. You can't pronounce, but instead it's just Big Mitch, which is even better.
Big Mitch.
Yeah.
So good. But what was and here's something that we kind of forgot to mention too, which was great, was before Mitch shows up and abducts Phineas and Ferb and takes him back to his trying to take them back to his big hideout in the sky in space, his space station, where Ferb says, well, they it looks like a big cloud, and Ferb says the line straight out of Star Wars. That's no cloud. That's a space station.
Yeah. And then Phineas's response is like the opposite of Han Solo's, which is, I've got a good feeling about this.
While they were trying to find Meep, while Candace had him, there was this through plot of Isabella's over there again. And Phineas has this little device that detects cute things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he keeps being like, oh man, like I'm trying to find Meep because he's the cutest thing there is. And she's just like, is he though? And he keeps being like, I have some cute interference. And she's like, oh, that's probably just me. Sorry. And he's like, no, definitely not. And
yeah. It seems so mean at first. Yeah.
The look on her face every time is so funny because it just cuts her to the core.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not
man.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens so many times. Like so many times she says something about like, oh, maybe I'm the cute one. And he's just like, no, definitely. No,
yeah.
can't
She's
be.
just like, oh, I'm ruining the mission. He's like, no, it's fine. It's not you. Yeah. It wasn't like I thought it was going to stick with that, but it wasn't until the end where she got a little bit of like I guess a compliment or a little bit of some praise finally when she was like, or it happened again. And she mentioned it again and maybe it's her. And he's like, no, because I tuned it so that it would like, I think like ignore her cuteness or something, tuned it around her cuteness. And then he's like, watch. And like when he switched it off and tried to like got it near her, like it had like a cuteness overload and exploded. So it's like, oh, well, she got a little bit of a compliment there at least. He wasn't trying to insult her. He was just like, no, it's not you. But he wasn't saying because I already programmed it to not detect you.
Right. So it's almost like a objectively already knows that she's cute and had to program his machine around her.
Right. He was saying it without saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He was saying it in the most like nerd scientific way possible without saying he has any kind of feelings about it.
Right.
But so they get taken up to Mitch's space station where they find out Mitch is collecting beings from all over like the galaxy and keeping them in little containers.
A space poacher.
He's a space poacher. Yeah. He's like, I'm not really a zookeeper. And then they're like, a poacher? Yeah, I guess. So then Meep and Candace kind of figure out what's going on. Candace, and this is what's interesting, is like Candace is actually fairly smart in her own way. Like she is not Phineas smart, but she thinks up using her bicycle and putting those baseballs that have that remote control, and she puts them on in the spokes on the tires, then uses the remote control to fly herself up along with me to the space station, which I was like, wow, that's really smart.
Yeah, but okay, you're saying that, but I want to say that I don't think it was her idea. I think it was Meep's idea because he kept trying to show her those baseball guns and it was like, here's how we can use them. Okay. And she's just like, I don't get it. What are you saying? And it was like the scene, it cut to a different scene and then came back to the balls being in the bicycle spokes. And so it's like, I think it was Meep's idea, but I'm glad you're giving Candace some credit.
It could be. But when they do get up there after she has to follow them through all the weird environments on that ship, like she does take out some robots and stuff using, you know, some of her ability and things like that. So it's like, she's not useless, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And she is the one who actually ends up freeing Meep from the cage that Mitch had him in.
Yeah, Meep got trapped.
And that's what allowed Meep to fight him off. And then this was great because I was not expecting this at all, where Meep steals Mitch's universal mustache translator from his face. And then Mitch starts saying Meep. Like, it's like, oh, okay. So this is just their species language. And then the Meep we know puts it on. Little Meep puts it on. And he's got this like deep, like very official voice.
He's like, oh, thank you, youngsters.
Yes, thank you, children. Thank
you, children. You've helped me save the galaxy. We do have to talk about, though, where the Perry Doofenshmirtz part intersects, which is fantastic. which is the static thing kind of works. All of these balloons come flying into Doofenshmirtz's place, slam into him, and it lifts him and Perry up into space. So them with all of these hundreds of thousands of balloons crash into Mitch's space station, like literally bust through the floor of it. So Doofenshmirtz and Perry like climb in. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
That was a great way to bring them into it. Yeah, but go on. I know what you're going to say.
But the best part is like he then spots a very familiar looking thing, opens one of the doors where Mitch keeps like, his various things. And Balloony is on the space station. And Mitch is like, Balloony, no, that's Colin. That's my best friend, Colin.
Yeah. And then he's like, no, look, I signed it. And he's like, no, that's just a birthmark. But that's a birthmark. It says his name on it.
And then, Doofenshmirtz is like, come on, Balloony, come back with me. Let's go back home. But Balloony does not float to him. So Mitch is like, Colin's with me now. So then this cracked me up. Doofenshmirtz got upset and he's just like, you know what? Fine. You know who my real best friend is, who I spend the most time with. And I guess that means my best friend. And he's going to say Perry. And as he starts saying Perry's name, Perry just punches him in the face and knocks him through the hole in the space station. Yeah. And he just falls back to Earth.
Yeah, he's just falling to his doom.
God,
that was so good. All the focus on Balloony / Colin was just so funny because it's just a balloon. Like it's not moving because it's just a balloon. But the fact that they're both taking it so seriously, and Mitch is calling it like the rarest specimen he's found so far, and it's just like, man, they're really just taking this balloon to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Oh man, so good.
When the episode wraps up, you've got that part with like Meep's mother-in-law where she comes in at the end and they run from her, and that was kind of funny. But then what I really loved was like the closing credits part where it's like showing all these scenes like you would for like on next week's episode kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where one of them is like they're talking about like, aren't you a little young to be saving the universe? And he does like, yes, I am again. Phineas does.
Yeah.
And then you see Balloony or Colin in there also, but he's in some kind of like big space suit and he's moving. So it's like, okay, like maybe he is alive in this thing. And then like as they cut to that, like it's just showing like the intro for the next episode of the Meep show, the Chronicles of Meep, which is going to be Meepless in Seattle.
Yeah. Like this one was supposedly called More Than Meeps the Eye.
Yeah, that's right.
So ridiculous.
It's just the layers of things, like a show within a show. Very weird meta they've got going on. So
good.
It was great. The last episode we watched for today's show was The Last Day of Summer, season 4, episode 48, which was the highest rated. And in this one, it's the last day of summer, and Phineas and Ferb decide to seize the day. Unfortunately for Candace, this means it's also her last chance to bust her brothers. Or is it?
It's also the longest episode by far.
What? It was intimidating to me at first when I was like, a 45-minute episode? Dang. But as I was watching it, I was like, okay, I know why it's 45 minutes and I liked it. Like I still enjoyed it all the way through. It never felt repetitive, even though it was technically on repeat.
I know.
We'll get to it.
How weird is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot. First of all, I want to say there's a lot of music in this one, a lot of songs. I didn't realize that they had an original song for like every episode. So now I kind of have a little bit more of appreciation knowing that, because I think there's about maybe 5 or 6 in this one.
There were a lot of songs in this one. Yeah.
Yeah. They were, and most of them, I mean, not the kind of music that I'm going to be getting on my Spotify, but I mean, they were decent. They did a good job. So,
I mean, yeah, it was essentially like plot, laying out the plot type music where it's like talking about what they're doing or what they were doing. They open the episode singing a song about the last day of summer and let's have some serious fun. And then that's where, Candace gets the idea she's going to finally bust them once and for all because it's the last day of summer. Mom's got some errands to run, as she always does. And then we hear Isabella when she's in the backyard with the other guys talking, like she's referencing the roller coaster from the first day of summer. So it's like, oh, cool. I'm glad we got to see that. So we get to understand that reference. And then
and her voice is totally different now because obviously the voice actors who were very young, they were like children basically as this thing started, or at least young teens, maybe late teens. Now all probably in their mid 20s at the time this is going on. So it's like now you can tell they're having to do a higher pitched voice instead of just talking normally like they used to. So like Isabella's was very obviously different, and Phineas is also quite a bit different.
Yeah, but it was just a very long summer.
It was fine though. Yeah. But in the backyard, we had Phineas, Ferb, Isabella, and then two characters you and I hadn't seen yet, Baljeet and Buford with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do for the last day of summer. And what they land on is everything. They're going to do a little of everything.
But it has to start with this like crazy over the top machine, or not machine, but this crazy over the top like ride. A slide at first, and then there's like a fly trap or Venus flytrap portion to it, a giant record they land on and shatter, a big pie, giant forks, and then this like not horrifying, but like this like creepy looking dude who's like a giant Pez dispenser. They go in his mouth and they drop out the bottom of that. There's a hot dog car. They ride on some soap. There's a water slide. And then like there was much more. Like that was me condensing down all the stuff that was on this ride. But when they're done with it, they were like, oh yeah, this was great. Like, was it like the best ride of the summer or whatever? And Buford's like, I have some notes. And it's great because, okay, something I want to mention is like, nothing is without purpose. Like everything that anyone says or any object you see, like it's going to come back later. If it feels like it's meaningless, it's probably going to come back in some way. Or come back full circle, especially in this episode.
Yeah. One thing that is going on with Candace is I like her series of slipping on the roller skate and falling down the stairs and then landing in the wagon and then the wagon like rolling through the house, like around the living room, through the kitchen, and then eventually into Perry the Platypus's bowl before it stops. It's funny because it happens multiple times, and we'll explain why in a little bit. But yeah, she's hell-bent on getting them caught this time. But when she's kind of like trying to figure out like exactly what to do, I think it gets suggested to her to return something that she borrowed from her friend Vanessa. So she goes to return, was it some DVD
DVDs.
or? And Vanessa, this is also a new character for me and you to really get to know, is Dr. Doofenshmirtz's daughter. So Candace goes over to Doofenshmirtz's basic house while he's like working on his next, invention to, what was it? He wanted to become tri-state governor.
Governor of the tri-state area. Yep.
Yeah.
And he had just finished another fight with Agent P or Perry.
Yeah, which I thought was funny because they were fighting, I think, and then Candace showed up, and then Perry had to hide so that Candace doesn't see him. So then Doofenshmirtz gets kind of down on himself about it because like he's just kind of down in the dumps because he's like, man, like if things are getting so boring that your like sworn enemy just kind of up and leaves in the middle of your fight, like what's that say about you? So he's getting really hard on himself and he's kind of in the dumps a little bit there, which I thought was great. So Candace is kind of looking around at some of the inventions and stuff, never putting two and two together. And she sees this one that catches her eye, and everything that Doofenshmirtz creates is a nader, is what he calls them. Because it all ends in a nader.
Yep.
Yeah. And she finds this one that he describes as the what was it called?
The do-over nader.
Do-over nader, that's right. Which, in theory, because he had never tested it, would allow you to start the day over again.
Until you shut it off, it will continue to start the same day over and over.
So seeing how she hadn't caught Phineas and Ferb yet, but now she knows what they were going to do at the beginning of the day, she's like, hits the button. Day starts over with her waking up the exact same way, sees them plotting outside, slips on her roller skate again, falls all the way down the stairs with that whole thing again. And basically, like, it puts our characters in a Groundhog's Day situation, but Doofenshmirtz and Candace are the only ones that know that they are trapped in this thing because they were within this little bubble around the machine when it went off. So those are the only two that are kind of somewhat outside of the effects of this thing.
Right. Everyone else is completely oblivious to it. It's just the same day to them. Slowly, things start, as these days start to, start over and over again. Candace is trying to do the same thing, find new ways to bust Phineas and Ferb. Since it's the same day repeating, she's like, okay, I can try different things. I can finally get there before summer is over. And then Doofenshmirtz is trying to do the same thing with Perry and find new ways to capture him, like setting up these super elaborate traps. You see like a montage of him going back and forth, trying to catch Perry, and his traps getting just ridiculous and like predicting Perry's every move. And then slowly but surely, these blue rifts start to open and things start to fall through them. Like, we don't see it at first, but the first thing that disappears is muffins, because when Doofenshmirtz, like, he wakes up in a new day, like he knows it's a new day, and he asks his butler, who has been bringing him chocolate cake every morning. He asks him about muffins, and he's just like, "What's a muffin?" And he doesn't know what a muffin is, and then muffins don't exist in this world anymore. Obviously, Candace and Doofenshmirtz still know about them because they're outside of the rift, but that keeps happening until really everything is starting to just disappear. And on the other side of that, the rifts, or the days, are getting shorter and shorter the more that it's resetting, because of all these different tears that are happening. Spoons disappear, capri pants disappear, tigers disappear. Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Eventually, Phineas and Ferb get pulled into that too. And you get to see, like, no one remembers who they are except for Candace and, Doofenshmirtz, I guess, if he knew them, but Candace specifically, because she's even asking her mom about him. And she's like, is that just like a new boy band or something?
Yeah, that was pretty good. And Candace is honestly really upset about it, and she goes to great lengths to get them back. On the flip side of that, Doofenshmirtz, his daughter is basically like really upset because he pays so much attention to trying to capture Perry and also all these inventions that he has no time for her. And she, like, each day she basically like moves out and leaves, and he feels bad about it, and then keeps concocting this idea that if I can get my plan to work, become governor of the tri-state area or whatever, then I will finally have time to be her dad. And he gets it to work. He becomes the governor or mayor or whatever, but then just becomes even busier. It just doesn't work out for him.
Well, he's trying to impress her also, to be a dad she can be proud of by being the mayor, because I guess the current mayor is his brother.
Is his brother, yes.
Yeah.
And what was funny too, and I thought this was great, was as mayor, he made it illegal for Perry to thwart him.
Yeah.
Like he wrote it into law, and then Perry shows up and he just shows him like the law, and Perry looks so sad. Just hangs his head and slowly walks out of the room, climbs out the window, and he's so upset.
Yeah, he flies off in his jetpack, and he contacts the major
monogram.
Major monogram, and he's just like, yeah, you're on hiatus until Doofenshmirtz's term is over. And Vanessa goes outside, like he's just sitting on the windowsill or something. Vanessa goes outside and starts talking to him about, she's kind of telling the story that she was trying to tell her dad, which is that she got accepted into Alka's internship program, but she can't join if she's living with Alka's number one enemy, which is her dad. And Perry corrects her just by holding up 3 fingers. So he's the number 3 enemy of Alka. And she's just like, all right, good talk, Perry. Even though he hadn't said anything, he just literally lifted 3 fingers.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Their little, like, I don't know, connection there. And all he does is hold up 3. Make her feel better. And she goes and appeals to him, and she's just like, you're not even happy. Like, you don't even like this. Like, why don't you try being a good guy?
Yeah, he's a nice guy pretending to be evil. And it's all in obligation to his backstory, which is not from his heart. Like all of his different backstories that we've been hearing about. And it's not making him happy. So she convinces him to try to be good for a change. And this is where he's like, okay, great. Like, I'm going to start doing that. And I'll start it by making a straighten outinator, which will correct this rift in time and fix this, since I've lost the device, because that his do overnator got lost in the rift as well. we get to see Phineas and Ferb in there. It's like a Nullville or something is what they refer to it as, which is just this like black and white like city that just all the stuff is falling into. So it's just covered with like oranges and capri pants
and full of tigers
and also groundhogs at a certain point.
Yeah, the groundhogs show up, but yeah, they're always having to run from the tigers.
Yeah,
they show up a lot to cause problems. And back home, Candace is trying to convince that their other friends, Isabella, Baljeet, and Buford, that for one, that she's not insane and that Phineas and Ferb do exist and that they were best friends, and two, to help her get them back. Now, Baljeet is, I guess, just as smart as Phineas, maybe smarter. I'm going to guess smarter.
Seems like it.
And after trying to appeal to them and it didn't work, so she tries again after the day resets. And she basically is just like, you know what? Check the current space-time continuum when they don't believe her. So he does. I don't know. He's got like a little machine that just does it. And he sees that everything's super out of whack and he panics. And that is what kind of gets him to be like, okay, so what you're saying to me now makes sense. So let's try to help her out. And he kind of theorizes what they can do to get them back, which is basically predict when a rift's going to open and throw a life preserver through it. And that's it.
That's the extent of her plan.
That's great.
And they finally detect it and they throw the life preserver through and all of them get pulled through. They all
get sucked through.
Yeah, into the rift along with the life preserver. So they're down there and they're, the other kids now are seeing like all their memories are flashing back. They're coming back to them. So we see like Isabella sees Phineas and just has that like quick flash of all of her memories come back and she redevelops her crush on Phineas. Then Baljeet finds a spoon and he just has all these memories of his time with spoons. and then Buford picks up an orange and he's just like, no, I don't really have an emotional connection to oranges. Like it wasn't doing anything.
He's just like, throws it.
That comes back later though.
Yeah. So then later they eventually they're doing some more scheming and stuff, and they kind of using some of the similar logic Baljeet was using. They're trying to predict when the rifts are going to open back up, and they build this huge catapult out of everything that has crashed there while they're also dodging tigers, which are chasing them. And they build what they call a time catapult. So predicting when the rifts are going to open, they're going to catapult themselves through a rift so that they can show back up in present day. And as they're like working on it, they're talking about, the machine. And they're like, well, in essence, we're going to have to turn the machine off or destroy the machine, whatever. Or they were talking about like what parts they would need to build something similar or to stop everything. And they look over and the original machine's just sitting right there next to them. They're like, oh, yeah, okay. I don't remember that being there a second ago. So they bring that with them. It works. They go flying through the rift. The machine lands several feet away from them when they get back into the like regular, Earth, whatever. And none of them can reach the machine in time to turn it off. Yeah, because the day is condensed so much.
It's gotten so short that it's like every few steps they take, it resets them back to the beginning, and then is even shorter for the next step. And on the other side of that, which is something we keep saying, you've got Doofenshmirtz and Vanessa and Perry working together. Like he's convinced Perry to help him build the machine and to finally turn it on and everything. Cause he's like, I'm good now. Like it's fine. So Perry just kind of shrugs. He's like, all right, I'll help. And like pulls out a screwdriver and starts helping him. And then, so you've got him going through his monologues that he goes through, telling him about how there's like a 55% chance it's going to work and a 45% chance that it might destroy life as we know it. And
yes,
but he's having to explain that every single time. So by the time he gets finished with his monologue to actually press the button, it resets the time. And because they're outside of the rift, he feels like he has to explain it to them again. So he just keeps going. And
he keeps dragging it out.
Yeah. And eventually Candace, using a spoon, throws it at the machine back in their backyard and hits the self-destruct button on the do-overnator, which it blows up and resets everything correctly.
And at the same time, Doofenshmirtz finally hits the button, but because he started going into a monologue again, and Vanessa was just like, Dad, I trust you. So he's just like, okay, and hits the button. So like what he does and what Candace does happens at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So to us, it looks like them doing it at the same time is what fixes everything and sets things right, and nothing loops again and everything comes back and everyone's got their memories back.
Right. So Doofenshmirtz still thinks he's done something until we see Perry behind the machine and it wasn't even plugged in.
That's the best. That's the best part. Like Doofenshmirtz did it all for nothing.
Yeah. But it's like he feels that he's done good, and he and Vanessa both think like he saved the world. So it's like Perry's just better off letting them think that.
Yep, exactly. So he might as well let him think that he saved the world and is now a good guy.
Yeah.
And the very end is like them all kind of sitting around and reminiscing on their summer. And what's cool is because they're obviously referencing stuff from like all these different episodes from the roller coaster and on. Like you can tell that they're mentioning all kinds of stuff that's gone through the series, because this is the very last episode of the series. That definitely turns into them all pulling out instruments and playing a song.
Of course.
Because why not?
And you've got his mom comes out, Phineas and Ferb's mom comes out and introduces, or is like, hey, do you kids want some orange juice? And this is where the orange comment comes back from Buford, because he's like, orange juice, there's the emotional attachment to oranges I've been lacking. Like, he finally got it. And then, they're going through they're recapping a lot of the like memorable episodes, I guess. And it's actually really intriguing to see the adventures that they'd been on. And it was all set to like a really nice song about getting the most out of everything when they're together and the time they spent together over the summer. And it was a good little recap and a nice way to close out the series. Yeah.
A really sweet wrap up. I like that.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our kids to the tri-state area to help Phineas and Ferb build their next crazy gadget, or maybe assist Dr. Doofenshmirtz in reuniting with Balloony. Then see what they thought of the show, Phineas and Ferb.
This show was crazy! There's so many inventions and wacky characters. I wish I just had a super smart brother that could build me a roller coaster. Oh, but maybe I had a sister that forced me to forget. Scandal.
This show showed me that the best way to spend my summer vacation is for my brother and I to build dangerously fun gadgets together while almost, but not quite, being caught by our sister and mom. But I think I also need a pet platypus for this plan to work. Or at least a cool fedora. There's absolutely no way those will ever go out of style or be attached to a cringy element of society. I'll tip my hat to that.
Can we bring fedora? Like, never mind. I was gonna say, can we bring fedoras back and make them cool? But like,
I don't think so.
There's already a sect of nerds that have been trying to do that for like 20 years.
But it's been making it worse and worse.
Yeah, it's been making it worse because they become the ones that are like, oh, so you like anime, huh? Oh, but let me tell you about what good anime really is, because what you like is pop culture anime, and that's not real anime.
Name 3 characters from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's like, oh, God, just no. So I guess the fedora's not coming back, folks, as much as we try.
They killed it off. The only one who could make fedoras cool again was Perry the Platypus. That's
Perry
it.
The Platypus. I just called him a platypus. That was weird. Speaking of weird, no, this isn't weird at all. What were things you liked about this show?
This show had so many likable elements to it. The animation was simple but effective. The songs were way better than they had any right or need to be, really. The humor pretty seamlessly went from goofy to surprisingly witty, making this a show that could definitely get a decent laugh out of pretty much any audience. And if all that wasn't enough, you're basically getting 2 shows for the price of one, with Candace trying to bust her brothers Phineas and Ferb's antics on one side, while Perry and Dr. Doofenshmirtz had their own separate adventures on the other. And these elements would cross over from time to time, like we were saying. And so it kind of made it a great anthology series spanning through the course of the show, which I really appreciated.
You know, I didn't think of it like that, but it almost does seem like an anthology in some respects to that way, because, yeah, it is a lot of like different stories that do constantly interweave in each episode, which is really cool. It's like, you know, these separate things going on. And And I got to give credit to the writers for that too, because man, they had to have just a really tight grasp on everything they were doing to make that work. It's something that I feel like not every show is pulled off very well, and they seem to have mastered it because just the way these jokes happen, the timing is flawless.
Yeah,
it's so funny the way that they do it. Like, and sometimes they'll hold off until like the very last second. Like, you know, the second episode we talked about that Doofenshmirtz and Perry don't show up with the others until like, you know, the very like last few minutes of the episode. They just bust through the bottom of the spaceship with the balloons and everything.
Yeah, and then we get one of the more charming parts of that episode with Balloony / Colin.
It becomes the like one of the best parts. And it's just like, you know, I think if they hadn't done that reveal and all of that stuff, if they hadn't saved it for towards the very end, it wouldn't have landed so well. So it's just like, man, they did such a great job there. And on top of that, yeah, just all the humor is fantastic. I think my favorite part, honestly, was the constant throughput of Candace trying to get their mom to catch them. And just the amount of random circumstances that take place that keep it from actually happening is so funny. Because there's so many times she's just got them dead to rights. And then just the second before it just gets pulled away from her. And again, with the timing, it's that timing of it coming down to a split second and just some random happenstance thing like a kid pulling a poster away. I think that's so funny.
From something that simple to Perry magnetizing an entire roller coaster setup
and pulling
up into
the whole
the
thing
air
off.
briefly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think having multiple characters that rarely ever speak is a really bold move. And they pulled it off really well because they're so lovable. And it makes it incredibly funny when we do hear from Ferb. Or just like, you know, I think some of the charm to Perry is that he doesn't talk and it's just his facial expressions. Or him just holding up those fingers and never saying a word. He wouldn't be nearly as fun or charming if Perry was speaking all the time, you know?
I think the same could be said about Phineas and Ferb's interactions together. It wouldn't be as funny if they were actually speaking back and forth, but
Right.
Phineas just speaking at Ferb constantly and Ferb just reacting to it made it a lot more funny of interactions.
Yeah, and that was something I didn't expect either. I thought this was just going to be definitely like a duo, you know, dialogue every episode. These two brothers getting up to all kinds of shenanigans and probably a lot of wit back and forth. It's not the case at all. The wit really comes from half witty dialogue and half just really well-written sight gags. And they did such a great job with that.
Is there anything that you don't like about the show?
I really tried to think, and I don't really think so. The only thing I can come up with is that sometimes I felt like the back and forth editing between what's going on with the kids and what's going on with Doofenshmirtz can be like a little bit whiplash inducing, especially when some of the writing and jokes can come at you like super fast. There are a few times every once in a while that I wish they slowed down with it. But, you know, when I noticed it the most, it was the first episode, it was the pilot episode, the roller coaster one. And I didn't really feel that way in the other two. You know, I'd have to see more episodes to see if like I felt that way in, you know, more of the earlier ones. But that's just me really looking at this thing with a critical eye, is that some of the editing seemed really quick. And there's a few times I just kind of wanted to stick with the joke and laugh a little bit longer with it before moving on and needing to like try to catch back up because, you know, brain's slow for me. So
I also think that since the first episode was one of the typical episodes, which is only a 12-minute one versus the others we watched, which were like 20 something and then 45 respectively, like they had more time with those other two episodes to like draw those things out. So it had to be a little quicker in the first one, at least.
Yeah. And I think there are a lot more of those 12-minute episodes too. So I'd be interested to see what more of those are like. To see if I still feel that way or not. And
right.
And even though I said that, like it honestly wasn't something that really caused a problem. It's just me being like super critical of like, okay, well, if I'm going to put this thing under the microscope, here's one thing that, you know, possibly stood out as a critique of like, you know, if I was telling somebody, if like looking at a project or something, I'd be like, okay, well, if you really do want some feedback, here's something you might want to consider. Like, it's definitely not like they made a mistake here.
Yeah. So I, on the other side of that, don't really have anything negative to say about the show from what we've seen so far. I didn't notice as much in the first one of it feeling too rushed or anything. The other ones were more drawn out, yes, but the first one went at a fine pace for me. It wasn't anything too noticeable. In fact, after watching the last episode recap, I'm even more excited now to dive in and see what else this show has to offer. I know it's got that Star Wars episode. I know there's an episode with weird giant baby heads and all these various other ones that they were kind of giving us small clips of. It's like, oh, okay, this is actually making me more excited to watch it now. So I'm glad that's how they closed out the series, where it doesn't feel like, oh, now I know what's going to happen at the end. It's like, oh no, now I just want to step in and see where their adventures went instead. So it's not like it was like super spoilery or anything. It's just like, okay, here's what happened throughout. You should go check it out. And I will.
There's also I think there's quite a few movies also. So
I know there's at least one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's one like full length movie, but I think there's also several shorter ones. Like maybe they're just like more 45-minute episodes like we saw, but I think there's quite a few other things out there, but
yeah,
I could be wrong. But
I know there's a Christmas special of some sort too. There's all kinds of stuff. And then there's those spin-off kind of series you were talking about, or that one at least that I'm not sure what those are about exactly, but if it's connected to the same world, it might be interesting to watch those as well.
Yeah, I think so. Either way, there's a lot of content to absorb from this IP, and I think that's fantastic because it was a lot of fun.
So what would you rate this overall?
I mean, obviously, I think it was a super funny show, incredibly more fun than I ever thought to give credit for before sitting down and actually giving it the time of day. I thought the main protagonist, Phineas, was going to get on my nerves a little bit right at first. And then like within seconds, I immediately was just like, okay, no, I love this kid. He's great. I love this little Dorito head shaped kid. It's so funny. I liked him just as much as all the other characters, which are all pretty fantastic. So, man, I got to give Phineas and Ferb 5 bowls of Sugarnator cereal out of 5 and would definitely recommend this to anyone willing to watch it.
Yeah, I think this would be a really tough show to give a convincing elevator pitch for. Because even though it is pretty formulaic from episode to episode, the actual events taking place range from random to just absurd. But it turns out they handled that portion of it so masterfully that it sort of becomes the secret sauce to what makes this show such a standout gem. Like, personally, I know people have been asking us to watch this for years, but I never really understood the appeal until watching it myself. And to paraphrase Buford a little bit, like I've now found the emotional attachment to the show that I've been lacking. So overall, I'd give Phineas and Ferb 5 big bowls of Bangaroo cereal out of 5. And if you've been sleeping on this one, I recommend giving it a fair shot. And you may be as surprised as I was.
Yeah, wake up. Quit sleeping on it.
Wake up, sheep.
Time to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Phineas and Ferb.
Man.
Yeah.
I do want to say also, I want to add that this is speculation, but okay, so Phineas and Ferb are stepbrothers. So you don't know who Phineas's dad is. You don't know who
I do.
Ferb's mom is. So the father.
We do. I think.
No, it's not what you think. I think it's like a one of the spies from Spy vs. Spy, because that is the exact same shape of Phineas's head.
Oh.
But also they are the shape, if you can see it in the logo, like their shapes of their heads are the shapes of the letters of their first names. So Phineas has a P shape to his face. Ferb has a lowercase f shape.
Yeah. I thought that the mom was Candace and Phineas's mother.
It is. Yeah.
And then I thought that Ferb's dad is, because we do see the dad in that last episode. Isn't that just his dad?
Yeah, that's Ferb's dad. Yeah. So Phineas and Candace.
Okay. We're saying you don't know who Phineas's dad. Okay. Got it.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Brain slow.
Maybe I said it wrong, but yeah, that's what I meant.
I think just brain slow.
And so there was speculation that Doofenshmirtz was Candace and Phineas's fathers, since
I hope not.
Since I think one episode showed he and the mother going on a date like when they were younger or something.
Oh wow.
But the creators of the show have denied this, so that's not true. Anyone who thinks that's not true.
I was like, no, that's no.
Yeah, that'd be weird. It would be doubly weird because Phineas has a crush on Vanessa, Doofenshmirtz's daughter,
that would make
the series
them brother and sister.
Yeah. So that would be really weird. It's not true. Stop thinking that. Anyone who's thinking it, stop it.
Yeah, let's not do that. Here's something we can think about. I want to think a very big thank you to our newest Patreon supporter,
Thank you.
Yeah, this is to Zells. Thank you so much for choosing to help support the show and our network financially. It's how we keep the show afloat. Great new merch. Pay our editor, Jack, who is going to have his work cut out for him in this episode. And all the things that keep Nerdsloth running. Those that choose to contribute on Patreon get access to somewhere in the area of 400 hours of bonus Nerdsloth content. Some of that does include monthly bonus episodes of Cartoon Boom as well. So if you do choose to support us, lots of stuff there. And you also get our undying gratitude. Like literally, we won't die.
Yeah,
it keeps us immortal.
Might, but our gratitude won't.
No, I will be immortal. Immortal.
Yeah, our gratitude will be zombies walking the earth forever.
Yes, exactly. Or balloons.
Oh yeah,
long-lasting balloons named Colin and Balloony.
My gratitude's name is Colin. I also wanted to thank Rochelle and Tommy for recommending this show to us because, man, what a delight! What a delight!
Yes. Oh man, it was so much fun. Yes, thank you both. I'll go. In fact, you know what? I'll go thank Rochelle as soon as we're done recording. I'll walk into the next room and say thank you. I'll take it a step higher.
Thank her for me too. And
no, I won't.
Then I'll text her and thank her. But this was one that I went into with almost not low expectations, but I went in thinking it was being overhyped because so many people had recommended it to us. I was like, it's not going to be that good. They just have nostalgia for it or something. But no, I get it now. I understand.
Yeah. It's gotten to one of those things where now I'm like, once She-Hulk is done, maybe I'm going to start watching this.
Yeah.
It's like, this might be my next thing that I watch for a while. So
your next best thing or your next thing better be Uncle from Another World that I keep asking you to watch.
I swear I'll get there. I promise. I keep forgetting to write it down.
That's why I keep reminding you every time we talk.
I'll go at it on my Netflix.
Please. It's worth it. You won't regret it. You won't regret it.
Okay.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, for the very first episode of our October celebration, we'll be watching
Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Suggested by Caitlin W. via email.
This is the original one.
This is the OG. Can you believe we haven't gotten to the original one yet?
I feel like we've kind of shot around all the ones where Shaggy is wearing green. For some reason, we watched the red shirt Shaggy saga first.
We did all of the red shirt and we never did the green shirt stuff, which is
so strange.
Everything else.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow. So we're finally going back to where it all started.
Well, cool.
The OG green shirt.
Looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming.
I'm so excited for it because I loved this show as a kid and I still have a huge fondness for it, especially the art, the background art.
I was just about to mention the art and the way way that those mats were painted in the back with the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I would hang some of those up on my wall now, some of those old backgrounds.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about that. I've thought about trying to purchase some old cells from this show, just of the backgrounds. I don't want the characters in it. I just want the backgrounds from this show to hang up because they're gorgeous.
So good.
So I'm super excited for this.
Yes. So once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.